Sheet music. 5 lines, covered in strange little symbols. For a lot of people, it might as well be a secret code. But what you're actually looking at isn't a code at all. It's a map. And today, you and I are going to learn how to read it. Hi there, and welcome to First Note, music made simple in 7 minutes. Last episode, we met the 7 note names. Today, we're putting that whole set down on paper, for real. Fair warning, this one is packed, but don't worry, we'll unpack it together, one piece at a time. First up, a set of 5 lines called the staff. It's exactly what it sounds like, 5 straight lines stacked on top of each other. But there's one ironclad rule. We always count the lines from the bottom up. The lowest line is line 1, then up we go, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, a note can only sit in 2 spots on the staff, right on a line or in the space between. And the staff really only has one job, showing how high or low a sound is. The higher a note sits, the higher it sounds. The lower it sits, the lower it sounds. Now, take a closer look. Fill the staff completely. 5 notes on the lines, 4 in the spaces, and that's only 9 positions. But music has way more pitches than that, right? So how can a staff with just 9 positions ever be enough? The answer is simpler than you'd think. If you run out of room, just add more. With short little lines that appear only when we need them, we call these ledger lines. If a sound climbs above the top line, we add ledger lines up top. If it sinks below the bottom line, we add them down below. And you can keep adding as many as you like, but pile on too many and the notes get hard to read. So in practice, we usually stop at 3 or 4. So now we can tell which notes are higher and which are lower. But there's still one thing the staff alone can't tell us. What are these notes actually called? And where do we even start counting? And that is exactly what the clef is for. That symbol at the front of every staff has one crucial job. It gives us a reference point. This position right here is this exact note. And once you have that starting point, everything else is just counting. There are 3 clefs in common use: the treble clef, the bass clef, and the C clef. First up, the treble clef, also known as the G clef. That curly, swirling symbol you've probably seen everywhere. And the name tells you exactly what it does. It marks the note on line 2 as G. You'll find it on the higher sounding instruments, like the flute or the violin. Second, the bass clef, also called the F clef, the one with the curve and the 2 little dots. Those dots lock in the 4th line from the bottom as F, so it belongs with the low-sounding instruments, like the cello or the bass. And third, the C clef. This one's special. It can move. Whichever line it lands on, that line instantly becomes the note C. You'll mostly see it on mid-range instruments, like the viola. The viola sits right in the middle. The treble clef would mean piles of ledger lines, and the bass clef, same problem. So the C clef steps in as the middle ground and makes everything easier to read. Alright, time to actually read some notes. Remember the 7 note names from last episode? C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and back around to C again. On the staff, they line up exactly the same way. Move up 1 position, and the note moves up 1 letter. And like we said, the treble clef puts G on line 2. Once you know that, the rest is easy. Try it with me. Line 2 is G, so the space right above it, what's that? That's right, it's A. And line 3? B, of course. Now, let's step back and look at the whole staff at once. Reading from the bottom up, there they are, all 7 notes cycling upward again and again. Now let's switch to the bass clef. It says F sits on line 4. This time, you do the counting. What note lands on line 5? F, up to G, and then A. Line 5 is A. See that? Exact same method. We just started from a different spot. And the C clef? Even easier. Wherever it points, that line is C. And you count up from there, same as always. See? Reading notes isn't as hard as it looks. Know your clef, know where to start, and the rest takes care of itself. And now, the final piece of the puzzle. Some instruments, like the piano, have an enormous range. 88 keys, played with both hands at once. So how do you write all of that down? One staff isn't enough, and a forest of ledger lines would be unreadable. The fix is simple. If one staff isn't enough, use two. Treble clef on top for the high sounds, bass clef on the bottom for the low. Join them together and you get the grand staff. And here's the beautiful part. These two staves aren't separate at all. Start at the very bottom of the bass clef and climb all the way to the top of the treble. One unbroken run of notes. And right at the seam where they meet sits one special note, a C, resting exactly between the two. We call it middle C. It earns the name twice over, near the middle of the piano keyboard and right in the middle of the grand staff, just like you see here. So it works like a bridge, joining the high and the low together. So let's put it all together. The staff, ledger lines, the clefs, and the grand staff. Working as one, they turn invisible sound into coordinates on paper. Coordinates that musicians all over the world read exactly the same way. So the next time you see sheet music, try seeing it as a map of sound. Those little black dots that used to look like a secret code, you might just find you can read them now. Next episode, we'll find out why a piano has 12 keys in every octave, not 7. And those black keys, what do we even call them? If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell to keep First Note going. See you in the next one.